What were you just saying?
Do you know what? As I was just replying to one of our guests who are coming on the show next week.
Multitasking as well.
I was multitasking.
Telling me how badly I take direction.
Yes, that's true.
Thank you for that feedback.
And then all of a sudden the music came on and I thought, oh, we're live. Well, I was oblivious.
Time and tide. Wait for, thank goodness somebody's producing this thing.
Yes, okay. Hands, I'm going to put my hands back down.
Right, okay.
You are.
So just to be clear, you're the director, I'm the producer,
okay, all right.
and we are the co-hosts of the moment. Welcome to it, everybody.
And it's Feel Good Friday, so I hope I don't know how you're feeling today, but we want to start this day feeling really, really good. So.
I'm a bit weepy.
Actually. Are you? Tell me why.
Yes, it's been quite a week. What I'd love to do, if I may make a serving suggestion, you are the director, obviously, and I'm merely the producer, as well as one of the co-hosts. It would be lovely to get to read out some of the feedback that people have bothered to give us. And we're really delighted by the amount of people and the heartfelt messages. So we'd love to share a few of those. Then may we do a bit of a check-in? Is that okay with you? That. And then if there's any time left, we can approach the serving suggestion of the day. It's indicative, isn't it? And pointing in a direction. We don't have to stick strictly to it. The point here is to come into the moment together. Question today, as an idea, how are we evolving in the new reality? Because this week is this season 1. Welcome to the new reality here on New Reality TV. What are your thoughts on that? It is Feel Good Friday, so let's see if we can find some of that feel good feeling inside us, that sensation. Good morning to you, Thunderduck.
Hi, T-Duck. How you doing?
Thank you very much for your feedback as well. So let's look at some of the other messages that have come through. And our dear pal in Devon, loving the new reality show with you both.
Thanks, Joe.
And I said to him, you've got to come and join us, Joe. He is such a wonderful man, one of the biggest hearts I know. It makes me well up just thinking about him. And he said, it's interesting that my energy aligned with watching your show as I'm trying to figure out what my new reality is.
Wow. That's big praise from him, isn't it?
Isn't it just? He's the way shower, isn't he?
He
He's the guide and helper, the Rev Joe, who I met in that capacity in Devon. So lots and lots of love to you and family, Rev Joe.
Yeah.
Shannon, go on, Mrs. M.
Well, Shannon's one of our pals from your Barefoot broadcast days.
That's right. I was saying,
let me put my glasses on so I can read it.
What? You wear glasses?
Sometimes, only if I have to drive. Congrats, y'all. So happy to be on this continued journey with y'all. Shannon's from Texas. That was a terrible Texan drawl. But yeah, Shannon's been a good pal of our whole journey, hasn't she?
Yeah, and I would like to underline and reiterate that you've been amazing to us, for us, Shannon, and thank you so much from the Barefoot Broadcast.
Actually, do you know what? Shannon was the very, very first of my astrological clients.
Exactly.
It was Shannon that encouraged me to get started in the first place.
Shannon, you are such a blessing. You have you remain such a blessing in our lives. Thank you very much in Texas. There, why do so many cool people come from Texas?
Yeah, we just got lots of great Texan friends.
I'll leave you to read the name of this person.
This was somebody who came through YouTube. Right. At Joe XJ2BB.
Right. This is news to me as well. What?
Oh, Mr. and Mrs. I did not know you were married, but when I saw your thumbnail, I instantly thought, lovely couple. That's really sweet. Somebody said recently that we actually looked alike, which is quite funny because I guess when we met, our faces were quite different. You know, the theory about people picking pets or dogs.
With dogs as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think my face has got rounder since I've been with you.
Charming. Right. Okay. Thank you. Is that a compliment or just an observation?
It's an observation.
Right. Okay. And this is Nomi.
Nomi B.
Nomi B.
Yeah. Thank you. Very helpful. I tend to be too much in my head.
All right. We'll deal with that in just a minute.
Nomi always sends really beautiful emojis. So I did put a little butterfly in.
I am liking these blue butterflies. There's a dragonfly in the room here as well, isn't there? Not a real one, but a beautiful illustration that you were given for your birthday. Thanks to John. Okay. Right. Do I need to read this one?
Yeah, absolutely. It's from Jodie Lee. You're so great.
My pleasure. You both had me cracking up. Love this chat as someone with anxiety sitting with it and leaning into is something I'm working on. Here for you for that. Absolutely, Jodie. Recognizing it was the first step. Mindset is everything for me. I've realized how massively my perspective and mind shift. I thought that said something else for a minute. My perspective, I was getting ready for the bleeper button for my perspective and mindset shift when in lower or anxious states. Yes, compared to when I'm content and chill. We are doing our utmost best to create an atmosphere of contentment and chill, and to invite you back into that. It's up to you. It's up to all of us, isn't it, to be in the contentment and the chill. And we hope to be an encouraging and inviting influence in that regard. Thank you, Jodie. It's like night and day. Hope that absolutely makes sense. Sending love to you both. Thank you so much, Jodie Lee, for bothering to write to us and for tuning in and being with us in our community, such as it is for 1 week, Mrs. M.
Yeah, it's amazing. I really, really love that. I'm loving the sort of like reflection that's going on, that people are reflecting. And, I think all these comments really become part of the show. They're going to help us. I was just writing some notes actually about mindset shifts, because actually, Jodie Lee, I had a massive mindset shift yesterday.
Careful.
Whilst I was in a shamanic exercise with somebody.
Right.
I'll talk about it a bit later.
Dad jokes came up last night.
Oh,
they?
yes.
Cosmic
yes.
dad jokes. It's like, can you imagine you've been meditating in a room and you come out and say, I've just had a massive shift. You might want to give it 5 minutes. Is that yes. bad? Sorry.
No, that's perfect.
Okay, all right. My great discussion, says Donna Marie, who joined us certainly yesterday and I think it's been popping in and out.
Yeah, she's been popping in.
Dominica, I believe. Yes. Yep. Great discussion. I always felt like a misfit, likely because I was. Welcome to the home of the misfits. Adopted and mixed race in a predominantly white space for you there, Donna Marie. On an upside, I imagined a lot, daydreamed, or perhaps you could say I was dissociated. Either way, it helped me to retreat within from an early age to where I felt more peace. Yeah, that's a lovely positive reframe, isn't it?
It really is. Donna's an incredible person.
Yes.
She's been on some of our other shows a few times, and she's always had so much feedback because people really, really resonate to the message that she shares. I mean, obviously her journey is really quite unique. Not many people have that same experience. But it brings up all sorts of things from abandonment, to self-love, forgiveness, gratitude, a whole heap of stuff. So she's actually going to be coming on soon.
Brilliant.
And continuing the conversation.
And hear the power of positive creative visualization. One imagination.
Yeah, I mean, she's had some really dicey experiences as well. And I also think like living in a different country from where you originated from also brings up some different perspectives. I mean, she's a Brit living in the Dominican Republic, and there's some hair-raising things. I think we're going to hear some of her stories in due course.
Wow, amazing. Joe is here. Rev Joe is here.
I
hope you heard our love for you earlier on. Rev
Joe.
Thank you so much for your messages. We will certainly get you on here. My heart swells just thinking about you, my friend. One imagination from Donna Marie was to be on stage, and with this I had auditioned and got into the National Youth Theatre in real life. The power of creative positive realization.
You're right. I mean, she is really, really incredible. I mean, she had a radio show in the UK. And she's absolutely a performer. I mean, she's just incredible.
And will be with us at some point. Okay, so the question we will be addressing after we've checked in just a moment is, how are we evolving in the new reality? What are the signals to you that we're in a period of change, of evolution, you might say? Don't think about it too much. Feel free to just share the first thing that occurs to you. And I must remember, mustn't I, to keep changing the camera view? It was like you were saying that like a ventriloquist, or I was, and you were there you were on the screen. So let's bring us both onto the screen for a moment and do that check-in then, shall we? Like, how's your week been? Where are you right now? Come into your body, if you will. Now, yesterday... Was
that a question? Or were you just asking everyone? Because I was about to go...
No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Do I need to be here for this? Shall I go make a cup of tea while you unload?
No, it's
okay. Right. First of all, I mean, it's a serious question, to be fair. How has your week been? Do feel free to tell us. It's been ups and downs for us, hasn't it?
Yeah, really.
Before we go there, though, please come into your body. We talked about wonky bottoms yesterday, I think, didn't we? That was a realization. Cold kidneys and wonky bottoms. It is a chapter, if not the title of your biography that will be coming out.
Yeah.
Right. And so feel the weight of your body on the chair, if you will. This is an active meditation or mindfulness, if you want to call it that. But let's not get into that, the concepts, the name calling, the judgments. Please just practically feel the weight of your body on the chair. Maybe the pressure of the clothes on your skin. I can feel my turtleneck on my neck here. This is quite a nice reason for wearing such a garment. I can feel the weight of my body on the chair. What about you, Mrs. M? Are you?
I'm feeling much more relaxed today, definitely, than yesterday with my wonky bottom and my cold kidney.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, really, really relaxed. I do have a blocked ear because I'm wearing like little in-ear headphones.
Right, so that's blocking your ear, and it's blocked as well. Okay, so you're aware of
I feel like I'm a little bit underwater, which is a bit challenging.
Okay, but any discomfort might come to one's awareness in this situation. I can feel I've got slightly cold legs. Like my trousers are cold, and I can feel that now. If I didn't put my attention there, I wouldn't be feeling that.
Yeah.
So this is what we're doing. We're being aware of the surface of our body, if you like, the actual information that's coming in real time now through your senses, and that brings you to the surface of your body, if you like, how you are occurring in the world, how the world's occurring to you. And if it's comfortable, if it's in any way appropriate, you can drop to the other side of that, can't you? We've got the information coming in from the outside world. We're aware of the information on the surface of our body through our senses and our sensations, and then we can feel inside, perhaps, as well as that weight of the body on the chair. You might feel the sort of graininess or granularity of the body parts, or different sensations in the lips, for example. If you dwell for a moment on your lips, as I like to do with you, Mrs. M, you might feel a little bit of a tingle or a sensation in the lips. The forehead. Some of us have got capacious foreheads, whereby we can feel a little bit of a tingle as well. And all of this is there. Well, we don't know. It's like if the tree falls over in the woods, and there's no one to hear it, does it make a sound? I suspect these things are going on all the time.
I'm starting to get restless now.
Are you?
Yeah.
I mean, really, are you triggered by this process? Is that what you're saying?
It's too much relaxation, I think, because I would I would actually just want to fall asleep.
Okay.
As I have done in some sessions.
All right. Well, if anybody wants to continue with that whilst they're listening, that's the beauty of this as well. We are encouraging a full body listening to the show. Be in as much, open out. So one way of listening, and we do this a lot in our society, I think, is to focus in and zoom in like a microscope on information. We can also be with information quite lightly as well, can't we?
Yeah.
So I invite you, as you watch the show today, now, and any other time, is to open out your awareness. You'll still be able to hear us, and just see how that is to have a full body and an expanded awareness of the information of what comes in. Through to your senses and what occurs to you through your awareness and your consciousness. Is that okay, Miss? Have I made you uncomfortable?
No, I just realised I was very sort of conscious all of a sudden that we were live on air, and I sat here with my eyes closed. I was really, really comfortable for quite some time, and I think just like reflecting, I think it shows you maybe what's going on in your life, so like yesterday I was feeling a little bit cold around my kidneys and feeling a bit of a wonky bottom. That's like your core, isn't it? It's like from here, this is like your place of creativity if you're talking about chakra points and things like that. So I wasn't quite comfortable, and yet today I'm so much more warm and feeling a lot more limber. I can't remember what I said I was feeling though. I was feeling something. So, my ears are slightly blocked.
Yes. Okay.
So maybe I'm not quite comfortable what I'm hearing about myself, who knows? But I often find, that what's going on is really reflecting, your mental state as well. So,
or you don't want to hear.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that the side? Is that the ear that faces me most?
No, life? It's not actually. But yeah, I would have.
It is in the car.
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe I'm trying to block you out.
I'm driving you crazy.
Yes,
and you don't want to listen to me in that ear. And
that's not enough.
Well, that brings us to how's the week been?
Yeah, it's been quite turbulent.
It has been highs and lows. And I know, I think you trust me to speak of this.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think it's an important value of our show as well to us. I'm not saying this is the value you would get by watching. I'm saying this is a value, an ethic for us. If you like,
it's just how we roll.
Yeah, and this week has been highs and lows, isn't it? The high of doing this show. And this being birthed, and it's really wonderful to be here and to be doing it. And we had the funeral ceremony of one of our best buddies this week as well. We were sort of coping with the grief of that since last year. I mean, he died in the latter part of last year in December, and his ceremony was
just on
Wednesday. And you and I I've been horrible to you at times, haven't I? My ego man has just responded very badly.
Yeah, well, I've been snapping back at you, so
we've been giving each other a good go.
We have been really what's the word? I guess, I think when we're uncomfortable in our we can't swear. When you're challenging in a new place, I think sometimes you let it out with the person you trust the most.
Yes.
Which isn't that great, but it's also a massive sign of how much you trust somebody.
Yeah.
To take you to a new place. You were asking about mindset shifts, and this has been coming up for me and we heard this a little bit last night. There was a round table from other presenters on this channel and New Reality TV, and one of the new presenters who does past life regression, I think his name's Daniel, was talking about like when you're shifting, sometimes a lot of stuff comes up, lots of grief, and like any kind of change you go through is the ending of one time of life and the new beginning of something else. And I just so happen to be on a course at the moment over 7 weeks with wonderful Whitney Mullings. Now, if you've seen any of my shows before, you'll know that I've interviewed Whitney a few times, and she's fantastic. But she's a shaman, a soul brand shaman. She's going to come on the show soon. But yesterday she took me through an exercise, and it was we'd done some sort of shamanic work first of all in this group, and she asked us to think about some of our experiences that we've been through, like our real highs and then our real failures, our real lows. So our successes versus our failures. And the really funny thing that I noticed straight away was all of my successes, I was really blasé about them.
Whatever, yeah.
I was kind of like shrugging them off, like they didn't really count. And yet all of my successes had never just come from, I had put in a lot of blood, sweat and tears, but I don't think even if you're working on your own, your success never comes just from you. It comes from the people that love what you do and that are lifting you up. And so it's almost like I'm denying the experience of the people that had lifted me up.
However, let me guess, everything on the bottom below the line, you took complete responsibility for.
Yeah. That was the thing. And some of them were hilarious because like when I look back at some of these things that I wrote down as my failures that I'd had in life, they were hilarious. And I remember at the time, like being shouted at by a boss, being let off for something. Yeah. I'd spoken up about something that was unfair in a pub that I was working in.
After all these years as well, it's present.
It's ridiculous.
Yes.
And I'd stood up for one of my fellow employees, and I got shouted at by a boss and like sacked on the spot.
Did you?
Yeah.
Didn't know about that one.
Okay. There's been a couple like that, where I was a little bit more mouthy, and like going for a job interview that I thought was a dead cert and then not getting it, and being absolutely
gutted,
furious and gutted, and like, how did that happen? Why didn't it happen? It was like loads and loads of different things. And the thing is, these, they were all instrumental in getting me back on my path and righting me when I wasn't quite sure about where I was going. And, I'm really blessed that all of those failures happened, but the shame and embarrassment I was still carrying in my body. And so I think that's what's probably going on with us. What
are we like, us
human
I know
beings? We're nut jobs. A lot of us.
Can I just come back to that?
Yeah.
So the successes, you're very happy to brush off and say, well, I couldn't have done it alone. It's all teamwork. But then the failures, if you like, I'm just broadly call them failures.
That's like, fine.
They are completely all my fault. No teamwork there. I remember them decades later, and it's all down to me.
Yeah, like failed relationships and the impact that failed relationship had, and just loads.
It's amazing, isn't it, Deb?
Like if I got drunk and embarrassed myself, I was still remembering it in my body like 30 years later.
Can we get an expert on to help get rid of that, please? The call is going out.
Well, here's the thing. Right. I'm guessing lots of people have got some things to share, from this kind of thing, because I don't think I'm alone in doing this. I'm quite sure about that. But when we are going through change and it feels like things are high stake, I think, your unconscious mind starts to like protect you. And so some of your less desirable traits, some of your less desirable beliefs that you might have about yourself start to come out. They start to emerge because there's a part of you trying to protect what you've already got. It's kept you alive this far.
Yes.
And so I think it can get a bit ugly, and I suspect that's what's been going on for us. Is
I had a great I had a very big distinguishing of why I was lashing out and being such an a-hole to you.
Go on.
And I shared it. I mean, it really upsets me to disappoint you.
Oh,
and we know where that comes from, don't we?
Yeah, definitely.
We know that, that comes from significant women in one's life.
Yeah.
And as soon as I feel like I'm not delivering or satisfying or pleasing the woman in my life, I just lose it and became very, very dysfunctional as a result. And as our great friend Lonnie said, that wasn't that a moment when he gave us a little bit of couple coaching, didn't he?
Yeah, a few years ago. It's great.
And you
hopefully
said
Lonnie will be on, actually.
Yeah,
Lonnie would be great.
You said, I can't, what was it you said? I can't listen to you, or I can't hear you.
You can't hear yourself. In those moments, Carl, you can't hear what you're saying. You can't hear yourself.
Said you couldn't hear me, and Lonnie said he can't hear himself, which was the massive breakthrough to me. And that's when we lose touch, isn't it, with our most clear, conscious self that we'd like to be, into the gibbering wreck with a brave face, who says things in all seriousness that are just hurtful and harmful and trauma-based, as though they were true, because that's all we know when we're up against it in those most difficult of situations. And thank heavens, we've got to this, coming back to the theme of the show, this perhaps is part of the new reality. On the one hand, like you said, that chap, the past life regression, Daniel, was it?
Daniel.
Yeah. Things are coming up for people, perhaps collectively, the things you don't want to look at, the rug, the proverbial rug that you've swept all the things under. It's as though the energies of the time are lifting the rug up. Say, look, have a look under here. It's like, no, I'm not having a look under there.
Have we got loads of comments coming in?
We've got one which I think is so true from T-Duck. My mind's got a mind of its own, and it takes me, once it's taken over, it takes me places I don't want to go. But that's what happens, isn't it? And I've got some, as well as a great week moving forward from Hugh.
Oh, that's good.
Great to hear that. Always great to hear the successes. I've been working on shifting my mindset around confidence to share my experiences, says Deb. As I was a child, I was told that I had too big an imagination. It's like, Deb, little Deb. And
Deb, was it you that shared as well, I think after a show, in some comments, that you've got a grandchild, a grandson?
I think it was.
With that 27-degree Sagittarius that we were talking about a couple of shows ago as well. You've got a very sensitive grandchild there.
Yes. And for the inner child of the parents who do that to children, it's like they are doing their best, aren't they? They're trying to protect you in a world. Like, I don't want my kids saying crazy stuff. Don't they? We know what that's like.
We do.
But that's not to say that wasn't hurtful and difficult for you, Deb. Things that were really happening to me were told to not be real. And I think you can resonate with that.
Oh, crikey, I mean, we both come from, and I'm sure you do as well, Deb, we all come from that sort of generation of children should be seen and not heard.
Yes.
And also children should not show up their parents.
Right. That's quite the combination, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, because kids are free and spontaneous and all over the place. Yes. And of course, if they're supposed to be seen and not heard and not show people up, there's only one thing they can do, and that is to be quiet and sit in the corner and not do anything.
I just had a memory of to cry. I needed to hide behind the sofa.
Oh, sweetheart, I'm learning loads about you today.
I might do that again. I might start doing that again. So when I'm out at a meetup or something like that, don't be surprised if you see me just disappear behind a chair for a few moments while I pull myself together. Really having to look under my hood. There you go, under the hood, under the rug. This is possibly what's going on, isn't it?
I really think so. And I also think the dark stuff doesn't come up until it's safe to come up. So one thing I've noticed since we've been together,
I mean, sorry to interrupt, but it seems to come up a little bit earlier than that. Judging by the last week, it's like I was not ready to be surprised again this week. But sorry, carry on.
Okay. Well, one thing that I've noticed, and without being indelicate, when you feel really bonded, this is just my experience. It might not be the same for you, but when I realize I feel really bonded, and so that sometimes happens after we've been quite intimate and really loving and like shared and opened up and just feel really sort of like magnificent. I notice a day or two later, it hits the fan.
The disturbance is in the force.
Because it's as if once there's that safety in your body and your body feels, I can relax now.
Yeah.
Your body's saying, oh, it's safe. Great. Because we've got some sort of disturbance here. I think our bodies are holding on to all of our tension, like our shame and guilt and anger. It's not just in our imagination. It's an actual feeling in our body. Like we have those sort of, we have guilt and shame carried throughout all of our body in different places, and it starts to release. And in that comes the great discomfort of awareness. A bit like if you're sort of physically detoxing. Again, I just want to say I'm not a nutritionist or a doctor. I'm not giving out advice here. But what I do notice is, like if I clean my body out, all of a sudden my body says, great, I can eliminate all these toxins now. And then all of a sudden I get sick as a dog for about 2 or 3 weeks. And then funnily enough, just go and retoxify it, which is what a lot of us do.
Isn't that the beauty of life though? We are here to practice and try, aren't we? And part of this new reality will be to share that experience and to be in a community where it's like, I fell off the wagon. I want to try again. Can I get some support? Can I be heard? And we give it a go, don't we? What's that movie that we've watched with the kids where you've got the characters inside the teenager's head?
I think it's called, actually I can't remember now. Is it Inside Out? Inside Out.
Yeah. And when you were talking there, I was thinking, okay, an adult version of that would be, oh, look, that he or she looks really comfortable. Should we run that trauma program again and see if it works? Or a bit like in a car, let's see what this little beauty can do, and you put your foot down. And sometimes it's okay, isn't it? And sometimes it's not. It's a little bit early on running that again.
It's funny that you just said that, because I always think that when I say something with real clarity and real strength, to sort of like with the assumption that I changed about something, like, so for instance, if I say, okay, I've totally learned that lesson now. I've now learned about that. Yeah, I've now learned to kind of like rewind it back in and then say something to the effect of, I'm not asking you to test me, life, because I can almost guarantee with, like even like timing, within a week, I will have some kind of test. Like I think when we do form these new beliefs about ourselves, we get tested.
Yes.
I think people often say, when they become religious, as they open up to God in the way that they do, they get tested too. Like when you get into a new relationship, most likely you get tested. Either
testing.
Yeah, but I think that is life. I think there is like, as I'm listening to this, I'm hearing there's a like we breathe in. We breathe out.
The circles, the cycles of life.
There's a push and a pull. And, funnily enough, we've got the full moon on Monday. And Tom, who writes he writes a book in a moon month, but we're talking about pushing and pulling. We're coming up to the full moon. And that is a time when
30 seconds, Mrs. M.
Oh, okay. I'll be quiet.
Time enough to say, look.
Yeah, join us next week. We've got guests every day.
We'll be here on Monday, God willing, right? And if you whatever sort of weekend you've had, and we wish you a good one, come back.
Yeah.
And if you're bruised, well, let's hear about it. Let's laugh about it. And if you have a great weekend, tell us about that as well.
We'll celebrate with you.
And thank you so much. Yeah, let's celebrate. Let's commiserate. Let's just be here for each other as we are in this new reality, on New Reality TV, on the moment with Mr. and Mrs. Munson here. Have a great weekend. Bye.